Welcome back to Chess Dog. This is John Montgomery, and today we're continuing our look at the King's Indian defense from the black perspective, the open structure. We've looked at a few plans, and today we're going to look at the second plan. And this plan for black is to expand on the queen side with a7, a5. And the idea is to place a queen on b6. Perhaps place your knights, you can see there highlighted in green at e5 and c5. And that queen on b6 can pressure the b2 pawn. It can also put pressure on the d4 square or a king that might be situated at g1 after castling. This can be an effective plan, although black has to be careful. We saw in one of the videos on the plans for white that black can get their queen trapped. However, there are certain situations where this is an effective plan. Let's take a look at an actual game. Beginning from the starting position of the game, we go into a King's Indian, d4, knight f6, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7, e4, d6, knight f3 castles, bishop e2, e5 castles. And we're looking at the structure when black takes on d4, ed4. Knight takes, rook e8, attacking the e4 pawn twice. He defends with f3, c6. White plays king to h1, getting the king to safety and off of that dark square diagonal. Knight b to d7, bishop g5, queen to b6. Now this is an effective move. It hits the pawn at b2. It's threatening to capture on b2. He's also threatening the knight on d4. Black could play knight takes e4, and then the bishop at g7 and queen would be attacking the knight on d4. So a common response from white is to play the knight on d4 to b3. It removes the threat of capturing the knight. It also blocks the b2 pawn, so black's queen cannot take it. But then black plays a5, gaining space and threatening to play a4 and kick that knight on b3 away, and then capture the b2 pawn. So if white decides to defend the b2 pawn with the rook to b1, black can continue with a4, and if knight a1, knight to h5, reveals the attack of that dark square bishop along the long diagonal. And if white plays the somewhat inaccurate move, queen takes d6, then black can play h6, displacing that bishop that's on g5, kicking it to h4. Then when a3 is played, if white just captures the pawn, then queen to e3 with a double attack, threatening the knight on c3, the bishop on e2, white is in big trouble. If instead queen to d2, then pawn takes, rook takes b2, and after queen to d4, black has a pretty good position. If he tries to defend the knight with rook to c2, queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and the bishop would win the knight. So black gets a good position. So this is an example of when that plan is effective. And usually it works if you sort of know the theory going in. But over the board, this plan is not always the best, but it's good to have it in your repertoire. If you feel you're getting value from these videos, be sure to like and subscribe and join us for our next video. Thank you for being with us on Chess Dog.